In her first interview back in Jersey after the final episode of the show has aired, Love is Blind's Catherine Richards sat down with Christie Bailey to take us behind the scenes, revealing what really happened with Freddie after that dramatic wedding and who she's dating now. Alright, so do you want to start by introducing yourself and telling us a bit about your background and your sort of links to Jersey?
Yeah, so I'm Catherine. I'm now 30. I grew up in Jersey pretty much. Left the island when I was 19. Went to ballet school and then jetted off to Ibiza and then came back to the amazing pandemic. And then now I'm here. So yeah, that's pretty much my life story in a nutshell.
And do you want to tell us about how you kind of initially joined Love is Blind? So I understand you were contacted by the show through Instagram, and then tell us how that unfolded and how easy it was to say yes.
Yeah, so when it came to the show, I had actually I've never watched any episodes. I knew it was about, and then I just got back from a holiday from Portugal, and I was meant to be seeing this guy, and it was like a love story gone wrong. And I was like, no, I give up. It's going to focus on me. I went to the gym and I received this message and I was like, no, this can't be true. I thought it was one of them cons, and I was like, what have I got to lose? I'm bored at work, come on. So then I applied, and I know with any reality TV show, the process is insane. It's not just like you apply and that's it. You need like castings, auditions, photos, like it's a lot. So I was doing all that after I applied and FaceTimes, and then it got like more serious, and then I was like, oh, I better tell my work that this is actually probably going to happen. I told my work, and then they put me on the reserve list because I wasn't even meant to be on the show. So they were like, you're a reserve. If someone drops out, we'll call you. They were like, if you don't hear anything by Friday, then, you know. So it was like Monday, so I only had a few days left to go, and I was like, oh. So I took my mum to London and for her birthday, and I got a phone call. And they were like, so, hi, Catherine, it's so-and-so from Love is Blind. Can you fly out on Friday? I was like, oh, okay. So I literally came back to Jersey, packed my bag in a day and went. So that's how quick. But it's like months of like auditioning.
So how long was it from the kind of original Instagram message to like when you actually started filming?
Oh my gosh. So I say I got the message in like 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Like that's how long the process is. It's not like you don't just apply and they're like, yeah, it's months. And some people don't even get like an answer straight away like I did. Some people do, some people don't. So it's interesting because no one knows the background of like TV. You think people just apply and it's really hard to get on. It's not easy.
Was there any like weird parts of the process that people like, I don't know, might not realise you have to do, or like what did it entail?
So the first bits are like loads of Zoom conversations with people, and they just want to know like your dating history and like fun little stories to get to know you as a human. And then they flew me to London, and then that's when they like measured my ring size, and I was like, oh god, like this is real. Like this was even like, I wasn't even near the stages yet. It was just really weird. You just do loads of castings. Everyone just wants to know everything about you. So that's literally what it was.
And do you have any idea what it was about you that kind of made them eventually choose you? Did they ever kind of give you a hint?
I'm still asking to this day. I'm like, why was I picked? Everyone on the show has got so many different personalities. So I guess they need to figure out, right, who would Catherine be suited to? Because if there isn't a match for you, it's, I think it would be pointless. So I think they try to figure out from their side, who would I be good with?
And when they said to you, like, we want you to be on the show, was it easy for you to say yeah?
Oh, I said yes straight away. And they were like, you can be a reserve or not, because, you know, it's hard if you have got a full-time job. Not many jobs are going to let you just to go. So I told my work the whole process. And they're like, yeah, if you need to go, go. So luckily I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do it. And
yeah, so I mean, obviously prior to going on the show, you were probably like dating in Jersey and maybe dating outside the island. And what are your thoughts on that? And how does dating in Jersey compare to dating in maybe other places?
So I wasn't dating in Jersey. I've had a few relationships in Jersey, but it's very small. Like I keep saying, everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
So the dating scene for me, I just don't really do. Like it's not for me here.
Yeah.
And there's not what do you do on a date here? I just don't know what you do. Like apart from a beach walk and like a coffee or like a casual cocktail at the yacht. Like I'm just like, what is there to do? So no, I personally don't like dating in Jersey.
Do you think that was sort of one of your motivations for going on the show, to kind of meet new people?
I've always said I'm never going to settle down in Jersey. Like I just want to go and explore and see what else is out there. So yeah, I always had it in my head, I don't think my guy's here.
And like touching on that, what do you think about kind of the island, and what do you think Jersey could offer to kind of encourage more people to stay? What is it that kind of drives people away, do you think?
It's so funny. I love Jersey, and like I grew up here, and like I want to raise a family here, but I just think there's not much going on. Like for us people, like even on the weekends, like when I'm back in London, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much fun stuff to do. Like there's bottomless brunches, and there's like loads of stuff like smash rooms. If you're angry, you can go and smash up some pottery. Where here, I just feel like there's nothing. But then in the summer, it's beautiful. You've got the beaches. But then I'm like, if it's raining, what do we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was to have a family, I'd definitely come back. But I just think there's more opportunities as well.
And so going back to the show, I guess, you know, you did the process, you went in there, and then the first stage, for people who don't know, is entering these pods where you kind of chat with someone, and you get to know them without seeing them in person.
Yeah.
So what were your sort of doubts and fears about going into that?
Oh my God, I'll never forget it. So there's 15 girls, 15 boys at the very, very start, which no one actually sees. And you date every guy in one day. Wow. Oh my gosh. By the end of my last day, I was like brain dead. Didn't know what I was saying. And your date is like 6 minutes each at the very, very beginning. And I'll never forget it. The first batch of girls came back from their dates, and I just started crying because they came back all excited, like, that's it, I found the one. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get hurt. This is ridiculous. What am I doing? Like, get me home. But I was too late. I was already here. Do you know, it's mentally challenging because you're in a room and all you have is just this person behind the wall. You got no phone. You can't, you know, we didn't really see daylight. We were just like in these pods.
It must be quite isolating.
It's very isolating. And then all you've got is these girls. And coming from Jersey, I found like girl group, it's very cliquey here. And I left at like 19. And when I came back, I found it very hard to get the girl group. So I've always been very small with my friendships. So when I met all these 15 women, I was like, oh my God, like where do I fit in? So yeah, it's mentally challenging, but you learn a lot about yourself. And not having a phone is really good.
Yeah.
Like it's a breath of fresh air. Like I love it.
I guess that kind of forces you to get to know people, right? Because you're not just, you know, going on your phone and not talking to anyone.
Yeah. And like you have to be open-minded. You have to be open. You have to be honest. Because if you're not, I just don't think it would work. And
on the show, we kind of only see small snippets of what actually happens. But can you break down how filming happens, like a day in the life, and like how much time do you actually spend in those pods chatting to people?
So, like I said, at the start, it's very full on because you're dating all the boys. So we actually stay in a hotel. So it was filmed in Sweden. So there's a massive studio, and when you walk in, it's really weird. It's like a movie set up with the lounge. They've got the girls' lounge and the boys' lounge. So every day we got taken over, and then we'd enter the lounge as if we like lived there. Yeah, it's funny because the boys are on the other side and you can hear the boys, but you can't see them, obviously. Like even if you want to go to the toilet, you're escorted. Like if you want some fresh air, you're escorted. Like you can't just go. And then we've got these books that everyone sees on the show. And in our books, it says our dates, like what time our date is and how many dates we have. And that's pretty much it. And then the producer will come in and say, right, date number 1 to da-da-da, you're up. And then that's pretty much it. And then the lounge bit is us entertaining ourselves, gossiping. And so, yeah, I mean, we're in the pods. So I remember my last date with Freddie was about 3 hours. Two, 3 hours. I remember thinking, like, how the hell am I going to talk to him for 2 hours? But it worked. Like, it does go so quickly.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes before the date ends, it's like, right, you got 2 minutes. And then sometimes they just cut you off and you're like, oh, God.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. It's crazy.
So how many hours would you say that you spoke to Freddie before you eventually kind of both decided that you wanted to move your relationship forward?
Someone did do the calculations and I didn't. I can't remember. Because I remember, like, when we were, like, getting engaged, someone said, you know, you've only known him for, like, and I was like, oh God, like, that's not good. I can't remember, but I was dating him from the very start, right until the very end. So I couldn't even tell you the hours.
And do you think it kind of is more intense than dating someone in real life? Because in real life, you might see someone and then like time will pass and you won't see them. But this is like intense.
Yeah, you can't run away. You can't block them. You can't hide from them. Like on day one, I was asking Freddie how many kids he wants. And like you are prompted to ask these questions because you need to get to know them in such a short period of time. You've got to be so picky in there. Like there's a guy in the pod and he shares a dog with his ex and he was my last date. He was like, yeah, you know, I do share a dog with my ex. I was like, yeah, no. See you later. Because you just want it to be right. So yeah, it's very intense. I would never do that on the outside world. If I did, God, I'd be single forever. Asking if you got kids and all that.
And how much guidance are you given by like producers and stuff about what questions to ask or like topics, or is it mostly just you?
So every day the guy will come in and be like, right, today you're talking about, but you kind of, it's all natural. Like you do go in there and like you kind of find your own rhythm. Me and Freddie were just having a laugh. Like I don't think we really did. We had some serious conversations, but then I don't know, he'd end up talking about pigeons, and we'd talk about pigeons for like half, like he told me a story about a pigeon for about half an hour and a squirrel. Like you just go off track, but that's the beauty of it, because it just means it's real, it's pure, you're getting to know him, you're laughing.
Yeah. And so for people who don't watch the show, do you want to explain what happens after the pod stage and moving forward?
Yeah, so after the pod stage, you obviously get engaged, and then the next day is the big reveal. So you actually get engaged in the pod, and then the next day is the big reveal. So I still hadn't seen Freddie at this point. And then we got chosen to go on the retreat, which was insane. It was in Corfu. I just wanted to sunbathe. I didn't want to do any filming. I was like, just want to sunbathe. We had this crazy villa. And then that's when you're really just you and your fiance. You're on dates. It's still fun because you're in the sun. It's like holiday vibe. And then you get to meet all the other couples for the very first time in the mixers. That was challenging. And then after that, you're then flown back to London, where we do the home stays. So you kind of do it backwards. You get engaged, honeymoon, and then you're living together.
Yeah.
And then, we had to live together for, it was like 4 weeks in Camden. So yeah, again, challenging.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. And then the final bit is the wedding, if you get through all of them, which all couples did. There wasn't a couple that left halfway through.
Yeah.
You don't need to stay. You can, this isn't for me. You might lose your connection.
Yeah.
So you can go, but yeah.
And after the excitement of like the pods and the Corfu holiday and stuff, was it weird coming back to London and then being like, oh, now we have to do real life together?
Yeah. So even after the pod, so when you do the reveal, you're separated from each other. You don't see each other until you're back in Corfu.
How long is that?
So we had to go back to London for like 4 days. So the boys were in London as well, but obviously we had no phone still, and they were in their side of London, we were ours. And then we flew to Corfu like 4 days after the pods. That was the hardest bit, I think, just the middle bits, like until we flew there. Obviously Corfu, we're on such a high. It's like, oh my God, we're all engaged. And it was like, you're on such a hype. And then when you get to London, you're like, oh gosh, it's just you. It was just me and Freddie.
Yeah.
In a room, and we're like having to navigate our routine, because we're both routine fanatics. Like we love the gym and we're very structured. So then when that was taken away from us, we were like, what do we do with each other?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the challenging bit, the living part.
And obviously reality TV is kind of like picking and choosing what bits we see, and sometimes obviously it tries to paint a specific narrative. How do you feel about how you're represented on the show and you as a couple in your journey? Were there any moments you felt kind of maybe misunderstood?
Yeah, it's been such a tough watch, because I've watched it all back, and there's bits where I'm like, that didn't happen, or there's a reason why I was angry. Again, the viewers will not know, and the viewers would never know because they weren't in it, but it is a TV show. You need to keep the audience gripped, and I'm very open and honest. So like any situation that would happen, I would never hold back. I'd be like, this is my problem, da 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 da. So yeah, there's lots, like this whole prenup thing that everyone's been banging on about. I didn't even know what a prenup was. And I remember I had to stop filming, and I was like to the production, what's prenup? And they explained it to me. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And then you have a thing called MIVs. So after like a situation, you get pulled into a MIV where you say your piece. And I said like, oh, I agree with Freddie. Like don't want any of his money. I wouldn't want his house. Like it should go to all of his sister, like everything. And I've got nothing to give you apart from my 2 cats, mum and dad. Like I don't know what you want. And they cut that out. So it looked like I was shocked when Freddie was like, so everything's going to go to my sister. So that's annoying because the viewers did not get to see me agreeing.
Yeah.
Even at the mixer, my mum and dad had a house fire that day, so I got pulled out of filming, to be told. But then obviously I went back into filming. Obviously you see me very like insecure that day. I'm very up and down. I'm having a go at Freddie, but what actually happened was because of the house fire. So my emotion was used for a storyline, which is fine, but again, viewers who are watching it don't see that.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's, I guess, so much more context around it.
Oh my God, yeah, there's loads. So when I came back and I told, my mum and dad just said I've had a house fire, Freddie made a song, which was quite inappropriate. And that's why I was so annoyed at him that day. But Freddie's Freddie, and like to him, he thought he was trying to lift up the mood, where it just irritated me a little bit. So yeah, there's so much in that show where viewers will be like, oh, she's snappy or she's fine. I'm like, you have no idea what's going on.
And is it hard for you now, like when you kind of see maybe people saying stuff online that's negative towards you, but like they don't know the full story? It must be hard to not want to go and like correct everyone. And
at the start, I was like messaging people being like, it's like, you know, it's TV, like please remember this, or like, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And then I was like, what am I doing? This is pointless. And then it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I can see it. I've watched the show and I can get how it comes across. But yeah, so it's difficult, but what can I do? It's out there.
Yeah.
I put myself on that line and I wouldn't change anything, to be honest. It's just a shame that our good times have not been shown.
Yeah.
And that is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of me and Freddie going shopping. I say, don't stroke me, I'm not a dog. He stroked me at least 20 times in that shop. But at the time, right, Freddie, again, if you ever meet Freddie, like he is so funny. And I always said, I never want to change his personality. I loved everything about him. And again, they didn't show any of that of me saying that. But in the shop, it was a really stressful day because he doesn't like shopping. We did not pick to go shopping. You're told what to do. So
yeah,
when they were like, you know, your date is going, so I think another couple went on like the London Eye and did all that. And they were like, yeah, you and Freddie are going shopping. And we were like, why are we going shopping? I was like, Freddie don't like shopping. So instantly he wasn't happy. I was uncomfortable. That's why it was so heated in that moment, because I was like, why is this happening? So yeah, again, it's TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots I could go on.
And do you think, like, I guess over the last few weeks, have you got more used to dealing with people saying stuff online and not wanting to always reply?
So with the hate, again, like the other week I was really bad. I was like, I don't know, there's nothing I could do, but I was at home, like in my apartment, I was just crying. I was like, I can't do this, like mentally, like I can see why mental health is such a big thing in social media. Like Olivia Attwood's just done a TV program about people hating online, and she found this guy and it was literally just him in his bedroom just making loads of accounts and giving hate, and he was like, oh, it's my job.
Yeah.
And I get, even TikToks, I get there's people out there that it's their job to create their views on a show, but when you're viewing someone's life, that you like, that's when I draw the line.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind what you say about the show, but when you actually dig in, it's just like, that's not fair. I've actually had a few people apologise, like famous TikTokers.
Really?
Come and apologise, yeah, because of how bad it's been.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been tough.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to see the silver lining. A lot of it is jealousy, and a lot of it is just because Freddie's a very good looking guy, and you know, at the moment he is king, and team Freddie. I'm also very much team Freddie.
Yeah.
Like me and him are like, we're like, I love that kid. Like he's literally my rock. But it's a normal relationship.
Yeah.
And this is what people need to remember. Like insecurities are real, like hormones are real. It's just, unfortunately, it's on a TV show and it's broadcasted. So.
And how does Freddie feel about it? Because it almost seems like sometimes people are like Team Freddie and then against you, but from his perspective, it's like the two of you together.
This is the hardest thing, because people don't know mine and Freddie's relationship and what we actually have. And it's hard. He's had my back from day one. Like he really, really has. There's been heated moments, but not everyone has heated moments in a relationship. Mine's just on national TV. But no, he's been amazing. He's found it tough. But I think he's enjoying he's enjoying it. Like I know he is. Like he's blown up. So I'm proud of him, but it's tough. Like it's really, really tough.
And do you think it's harder for people, I guess, like you, who your social media growth hasn't been kind of slow, it's just been this sudden explosion, so you haven't had time to get used to it? Do you think that makes it harder?
Yeah, 100%. Like I don't even like, social media is toxic. And like I see all these girls coming up to me, like young teenagers, and they're like, oh, can we get photos? And they're like on their Snapchat and Instagram, and I'm like, please remember who I am. Like I don't want to be an influencer. Like I want to influence the right things. But yeah, my social media has blown up. But again, I'm grateful, because I know there's kids, teenagers that watch reality TV and they're like, I want to do that. And so yeah, I'm trying to just take everything with a pinch of salt at the moment. But haters are hating. But
and what is it like? I don't know, you were saying to me before, like walking through the airport and people are
oh my God,
you.
Gatwick Airport, that was fun. I was so hungover and I was like trying to look at the gate with my time. I was like, what time is it? And then this little girl was stood there like on her phone, like with her Snapchat, like trying to, and I was just stood there like, are you serious? So I went over to her and I was like, do you want a picture? And she's like, yeah. Next thing you know, there was like 20 people like just queued up.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, like I just want a coffee at this point. But do you know what? I'm grateful again, and I would never say no, because I've been in that position. Like if I'm watching another reality TV show and I see them in the street, I'm like, oh my God. So I get it. But the gate to Jersey, that was fun, because it was like my first time since the show's come out.
Yeah, you must have done that flight so many times and it's been completely normal, and now this time,
it's like, really, really weird. And like, again, this was filmed a year ago, so a lot has changed in a year, but they don't know that. So for them, it's like, oh my God, it's Catherine. But it's fine. It is what it is. Walking down King Street's fun.
Yeah.
Like people are like, is that her? Is it not? Like, I'm the type of girl, like, I don't really wear makeup. I don't really make an effort. I don't care. So they're probably looking at me like, she doesn't look glam. Is that her? And I'm like I'm going back to work tomorrow just for one day, just to clear my head. So I'm like, that's gonna be fun. Like my patients are gonna be like, is that, like, is she back to work now?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's part and parcel. But again, like, I'm just grateful for it. So.
And career-wise, I guess, talking about work, you were a dental nurse in Jersey,
yeah.
right? So what's your plans with that going forward? Social media?
I'm actually still studying, because I think it is important not just to get carried away in the social media won't last forever. And I didn't go on the show to do social media. I went on there to find someone. But with my platform, you know, you got your brand deals, you got like all this fun like appearances, and I will be doing that, and maybe getting my own jewelry brand. I'm hopefully going to get a book out in the future.
Wow.
I want to work with charities with like adoption, and I think I want to do podcasting myself. So Olivia Atwood, me and her might have something coming up. Like,
really?
Yeah, just because I relate so much to her, because she's very outspoken and she got a lot of hate, you know, coming off of her show. And there's even like Zara McDermott, like there's so many people out there that I'm like, no, I can use my platform for something.
And have you been in touch with a lot of these people since the show's kind of done and you're...
Maybe. It's so fresh. Like the last episode's just been shown. We've still got the reunion that needs to be shown.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just taking a step back, like, I'm not even going on. I'm on my phone all the day. Like my mum's like, so is this it now? You've come back and you're on your phone all night. She's like, I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, even in the morning, she's like, off your phone. So I'm trying to just find the balance of, okay, this is my work, and then like come off my phone and be with family and friends. But it's hard navigating it.
Yeah, because I guess when your work kind of is based in social media,
I'm on my phone.
Yeah, you're just on your phone.
On my... But there's a difference of being on social media and actually creating content, or just sitting on Instagram scrolling. So at the start, it's very easy to just refresh your page. Like, oh, I got another 100 followers. And it's very toxic. So I'm now like, right, no, this is the time for work. This is the time for scrolling. I mean, I avoid TikToks. My face is everywhere. So I'm not on that at all. So yeah, I'm just trying to find the balance.
And you sort of touched on maybe using your platform for like adoption charities and stuff like that. Is there anything else, or do you want to expand on that more?
Yeah, so again, it's still so fresh. So I'm working with an agent at the moment, and we've just come up with ideas, because I want to stay current and I want to use this platform. So it's just trying to find the route that I want to go down, because again, like Love Islanders, they come out of Love Island and then you sign and then you don't really see them again. I kind of want to stay high. I want people to be like, no, like, you know, that is her, and they know who I am all the time. So yeah, again, so I'd like to work with charities, talk about adoption, and even with females with like their insecurities and what they're like in a relationship, and talk to them about it. Like I was in a really bad relationship a couple of years back, like domestic, and I know there's loads of females out there, but when you're in a new fresh relationship, your traumas can really affect
of course,
your new relationship. And a lot of that was with Freddie, because Freddie is such a good guy, and I wasn't used to that. So again, like I think it's just finding the females and just creating something all together, and then hopefully a book at the end of it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
What sort of book are you talking, like about your story or just something?
Probably about my journey, because you know, I was an adopted child. I went to like public school here, and then finding friends were really hard for me. School was challenging. I got bullied so much. And then I went to ballet school, and then that's a journey in itself. And then all of a sudden I worked in a high-end place in Ibiza, and it was like, oh, okay, she's popular now. And then when I came back, it was like no one wanted to know me. So you come from such a high to a low. So I think I want to just share my journey with people, to be like, okay, that's Catherine. And then I think it'd be nice. I think a lot of people relate.
And I guess with reality TV, like we were talking about before, the people creating the programme have control of the narrative, whereas if you wrote something like a book, it would be like
it's
what
from
you wanted to
exactly
say.
It's from me, and I don't want to just be like, oh, that's Catherine from Love is Blind. I want to be me for me. So yeah, it's just working towards that.
And I don't know how much you're allowed to say before the reunion comes out, but what are we allowed to know about you and Freddie and your relationship now? And
well, yeah, well, the weddings are out, so
yeah.
No, yeah, so me and Freddie, we didn't get married. I said yes, he said no, which was fun.
How did that feel?
Amazing. Loved every minute of it. No, it was tough.
Could you like understand where he was coming from? Because he did kind of, you know, try and explain it to you, or did it still feel
No, because again, behind the scenes, halfway through the show, he actually sat me down and said, I said, let's go home. Because I was like, this isn't working for him. The pressure is unreal. And he was struggling with the pressure, which is absolutely fine. And I said to him, come on, let's go. Like, we can do this out. And he was like, no, I want to stay. I was like, okay. And then he would be in the kitchen with me planning the wedding. Because we planned the wedding. And he'd be planning the wedding. And he, you know, he invited his brother, which is a big part, which was massive. Invited his mum, invited her. And I was like, well, if he's inviting all these people, like, if I was going to say no, I wouldn't have invited my mum and dad and Tom, Dick and Harry to the wedding. And then, I'm trying to think, he sat me down and kind of said halfway through, like, look, I'm not in love with you, you know, but I want to continue. So again, that's not shown. And that's really tough for me because I was getting so many mixed messages. And I was like, do you know what? I want to make this work. I'm going to go with my gut. So anyway, I went down that altar and I got told he was going to say yeah. It wasn't... Again, there's a lot of people involved in this. It's not just me and Freddie.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of people in your ears. I did say yes because I did want that. I was like, we can make this work. Like, yes, it's marriage, it's massive, but it is a bubble as well. And when you're out that bubble, you're like, oh gosh. He said no, and he said he wanted to make it work after the wedding, and then I took him to Jersey for 24 hours, which was nice of him to make an appearance for 24 hours. And then he ended it straight after.
Oh.
Which was tough because I was like, what? I was like, why? Like, you know, why didn't you go home when we said let's go home? He's admitted that, you know, there wasn't a connection. The pods were real. But then after the pods, I think he was like, there's no connection.
And he knew that early on, but didn't say anything.
So this is why I was so insecure on the show, because I knew the pressure was getting to him.
Yeah.
And it was very like up and down. And I was like, well, he's telling me he wants to be with me, but something's missing. And I was driving myself stir crazy. Like I was crying every day. And so was he. Like, it is tough, and he probably didn't know. But I just wish we just threw in the towel at the start because, you know, it is real people's feelings. So he ended it, and we're a year later. They released the cast, and he appears. And I guess it's brought up a lot of emotion for us. Like, so I think, we'll always be in each other's lives. Like, we do love each other so much. But it's hard because I've got a lot of frustration and I just don't think he sees it. But we will support each other. Like, we just had the launch party the other day and he was struggling, but we were there for each other from start to finish. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm with someone now from the pods, funnily enough.
Oh, wow.
Exclusive. Do you know what? It's actually nice talking about. But again, we've been together nearly a year. We live together.
Yeah, so it's so weird because kind of everyone's finding out all this stuff about your life from a year ago.
You're probably like, actually, I can say, are you the first one to know? There's a few people that know, a few little magazines out there. Yeah, so I am with someone from the pods.
Wow. Yeah, How did that come around?
Well, you know the guy I was just talking about, the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him.
The one that you cut off immediately.
So I did an interview and I was like, there was a guy with a dog. And I was like, no. But I was like, it's funny because I actually am with the guy with the dog. And the dog lives with us. It's great.
Oh my gosh.
So his journey, so Jake, he was in the pods, but he wasn't chosen. He got engaged, but he wasn't chosen to go on the retreat. So not everyone is picked.
Okay.
Netflix only choose 5 couples. I was lucky enough, but sadly he wasn't. But his journey was very rough in there. Like, he had a roller coaster of emotions, like the way he was treated. But anyway, so I reached out to him because I hadn't seen him. I only saw Freddie and the couples on the retreat. So I saw him on social and I was like, oh, that Jake. And I was like, I wonder if he's the one from the show. So I messaged him. I was like, hey, just want to check in. Like, are you okay? Because I was in the girl lounge with his fiance and I just knew the drama that was going on. It was crazy. And he messaged me and he was like, who's this? He's like, who is this? And I was like, it's Kat. And he was like, oh my God, because he didn't know what I looked like either.
Yeah.
He was like, wait, is this Kat from Love is Blind? I was like, yeah. And he was like, wait, aren't you married? I was like, funny story, because obviously the wedding was what would have been like 2 weeks after that, or 2 weeks before that. So I was like, well, no. And then we FaceTimed. I was like, I've got so much to tell you. So we were on FaceTime for about 5 hours that evening. And then we spoke every day for 5 weeks. And then I went to go and visit him for the weekend. And now we live together with the dog.
The dog was the reason that you sort of rejected him in the first place.
His name was very popular in the girls' lounge. So in the girls' lounge, everyone talks about their connections. And Jake's name was out there. Freddie's name was not out. No one... I only had connection with Freddie, like a true connection with Freddie. Like I only wanted him. And I wouldn't change that because I wouldn't be with Jake if that didn't happen. So it's just so funny. Because like if we dated, we would have got married. It would have been lovely. But the pressure that you are under, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, so you're not almost looking back thinking, God, I wish I'd just said yes in the first place.
I'm so happy I did the whole journey with Freddie. Like, me and Freddie, we have got such a good connection. Like, that pod journey was insane. I've never experienced that with anyone, like, and I never will. Like, as much as I say this happened, that happened, I literally love that guy so much, and he will be in our lives forever. So yeah, I wouldn't change it. And Freddie was a good looking guy. I mean, I've really got jackpot. Like, Jake laughs about this all the time. Like, Jake's like, well, I can wear Calvin Klein's too and walk around the bedroom like in my top. I'm like, yeah, but Freddie's body is insane. It's like, Jesus. I think I called it a cheese grater.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I still feel so lucky that I got to know Freddie on that level.
And do you think your relationship with Jake now is sort of stable enough that seeing all this come out a year later, it's not impacting that at all?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm happy it worked out, because if it was roles reversed and it was him that I had to watch, oh my God, no. I would have gone back to Jersey and locked myself in a cupboard, like, and I knew his journey. So he struggled. You know, he's not watched it. He watched one episode and was like, no, not doing it.
Yeah, fair.
He was at the launch party and he watched the hen party. I was very intoxicated on that hen party, so he was like, oh my God. But it's hard because he's watching me say I miss someone and I love someone, which was Freddie. But even that evening, Freddie got really emotional at the launch party and Jake was the first person to go over there and just give him a hug.
Wow.
So we are all a team in a really messed up way.
And what about other people from the show? Have you kind of made any long lasting friendships and stuff?
So me and the girls, it's really weird because in the show you start off as friends and then that's when things get a little heated. After filming, everyone just focused on their own journey, and I think they've watched the show and I think they saw me and I think they're a bit like didn't like the way she acted, but we've all made up. They've heard my side of the story. I take accountability for like my snappiness and my sassiness, but yeah, at the end of the day, us girls will always have each other because we went on it together. And no, I can't just call like my friend back at home and be like, oh, I'm struggling. They don't get it. But no, the girls are amazing. Like, their journeys alone, like, they're so inspirational. So yeah.
Finally, what can we sort of expect from you next?
Oh my gosh, so much. So I'm just here relaxing, or trying to relax at the moment. I'm going back next week. I've got a few amazing like beauty stuff I'm doing in London, so I get to do that. So hopefully maybe I'll be on the screens again soon. Maybe another TV shows in the cards. I don't know. There's a few up there that I really want to get my hands on. So
you're not put off from reality TV then? You're
no.
You're all right about it?
I've done the big one. Like, what, do you know what? Yeah, I mean, obviously I wouldn't do a dating show. Yeah. And even if I was single, like someone said, I got asked to do Perfect Match, which is like the follow-up. And I was like, God, I'm going to be like 31 next year. Like, but it's like, you had to know, I'm going to be walking like, hi, I'm Catherine, I'm 31, I need a husband. Like, I'm done with the dating scene. So yeah, but definitely more TV shows, maybe, I don't know. We'll see, but big things will be coming.
Nice. Well, we'll keep an eye on you.
I know. Yeah, you can't miss it. It's Jersey. It's so small.
Thank you so much for chatting with me then.
Thank you.